You Are Listening Principles by Ray Dalio. Among the planet's wealthiest figures, Ray Dalio demonstrates exceptional mastery of achievement. His winning methodologies remain accessible. Anyone can master these approaches. What you'll uncover in this exploration reveals that extraordinary business outcomes aren't as intricate as they appear. Success hinges on following core guidelines that steer choices and maintain direction consistently. Recognizing what matters most within your organization represents a deeply individual exploration, distinct for every leader. However, across all sectors, certain business fundamentals prove universally valuable, such as fostering honesty throughout your team. This builds trust-based environments and transparent cultures, stopping problems before they grow. When interested in discovering more universal guidelines for business prosperity, let's examine Ray Dalio's personal methodology and reveal the tactics driving his extraordinary achievements. Life occasionally overwhelms us with countless questions and uncertainties, making us feel caught in a storm where visibility extends barely beyond arm's reach. Under these circumstances, determining proper direction or appropriate decisions becomes impossible. This explains why establishing concrete guiding frameworks proves essential. Like carrying a navigation tool when lost, possessing such frameworks ensures you'll consistently understand your destination and which actions maintain that trajectory, regardless of conditions. They supply foundational truths applicable to every scenario, enabling progress toward objectives and your desired existence. How do we recognize these frameworks? Everything begins with maintaining realistic life perspectives. Avoid deceiving yourself that existence remains consistently comfortable and pleasant. The author, Ray Dalio, understands reality isn't always beautiful, leading to one foundational principle. Rational thinking must always guide decisions, never emotions. Eventually, everyone receives reminders that life isn't perpetually ideal, making this awareness important. Consider the natural world. Witnessing a graceful gazelle hunted by hyena packs breaks hearts. Yet this represents natural reality, part of the balanced environment that developed over millennia. Denying this truth and attempting interference could create dangerous consequences. Accept that difficulties will arise occasionally. Remember that setbacks frequently offer valuable opportunities for learning, adaptation, and growth. Every long-standing business has adapted to transformations and recovered from challenging periods, something you'll eventually need to accomplish. Navigate difficulties with resilience while continuously learning and advancing. Professional athletes aren't required to apply athletic training principles. Actually, viewing existence as competition helps maintain focus on achieving outcomes and reaching objectives. This viewpoint also eases navigation through difficult periods. Even elite athletes experience performance slumps. Wisdom suggests remembering that life won't consist of continuous victories. When situations aren't proceeding perfectly, remaining calm until circumstances improve proves best. However, participation requires establishing an ultimate objective, and effective goal-setting secrets involve prioritizing and narrowing focus. Common errors include pursuing too many objectives simultaneously. Truth reveals that selecting one goal automatically eliminates numerous other possibilities. Therefore, intelligent choices require internal examination to identify deepest desires. When something ignites passion but skills seem insufficient for mastery, don't abandon it. Remember, continuing education, acquiring new abilities, and enhancing existing ones remains always possible. After establishing your objective, systematically examine circumstances and identify obstacles or challenges blocking progress. Realism becomes crucial here. Don't ignore difficulties because they're too personal, and don't minimize potential issues through excessive optimism. When personality traits exist that you prefer avoiding acknowledgement like distraction tendencies, don't evade them. Recognizing weaknesses differs from allowing their control. Admitting their existence represents the initial step toward self-improvement and learning weakness management. The author, Ray Dalio, established Bridgewater Associates, an investment company practicing another Dalio business principle: extreme honesty and transparency. Radical honesty ensures important issues remain visible, creating environments where staff feel comfortable expressing thoughts. This transparency safeguards against poor choices, as colleagues constantly exchange critiques, implement improvements, and prevent errors before occurrence. At Bridgewater Associates, radical honesty applies to leadership as well. When companies consider closing or selling divisions, many executives choose secrecy, informing employees only at the final moment. However, when this scenario occurred at Bridgewater, senior management conducted employee meetings with complete honesty about the pending transaction. Here's the reality. When managers aren't transparent about upcoming sales, significant distrust and resentment among employees develops, because rumors about sales will likely spread regardless. Why not demonstrate respect through truthfulness? Radical transparency resembles radical honesty. It means being open regarding behavior and work expectations that management has for employees, and reciprocally. Managers and employees should interact as partners in long-term relationships would. This means demonstrating mutual respect, considering each other's best interests, and maintaining crystal clarity about responsibilities. Workplaces reach their peak when employees demonstrate more consideration for colleagues than they expect receiving. Yes, this represents a radical approach, since most people might be accustomed to competitive workplaces, where everyone prioritizes personal interests exclusively. However, productivity and quality improve when employees abandon selfish behaviors and develop strong relationships based on generosity, cooperation, and honest transparency. Dishonesty isn't always malicious behavior. Indeed, people often display greatest dishonesty when attempting kindness. Once, the author considered promoting an employee to department head. He understood that many coworkers felt this employee deserved the position. However, examining the company's performance tracking system, containing hundreds of data points on every employee, revealed different evidence. The promotion candidate simply lacked appropriate qualities for the role. You might think the kind action would be granting the position based on colleague praise, but success secrets aren't radical kindness, they're radical honesty. Truth reveals that ignoring evidence about employee unreadiness deserves everyone. Since most people overestimate capabilities and work contributions, conducting accurate evaluations becomes essential for preventing problems. When the author surveyed Bridgewater Associates employees, asking them to estimate what percentage of company achievements they personally accounted for, combined percentages totaled 301%. Clearly, managers must understand accurately how much work each person performs, because employees typically don't. However, accuracy and honesty benefit not only overall business, they also benefit individual employees. Psychologists believe the strongest motivator for personal improvement is pain experienced after making mistakes. When feeling terrible about wrongdoing creates determination to never experience that again, it's called hitting bottom, often what people need to finally change behaviors. Remember that addressing employee shortcomings requires considerable time, so it should receive priority over celebrating successes. When dealing with strengths, encouraging employees to maintain good work remains relatively simple. For problems, causes need identification, and solutions require development, all consuming much more time and resources. When establishing business goals, you can conceptualize employees as components within engines powering your company or machine toward its objectives. For the author, his goal involved providing clients with optimal investment returns, and he often felt like a mechanic opening hoods to improve his Bridgewater machine's engine. This analogy of manager as mechanic and company as machine excellently maintains focus on job responsibilities and necessary repairs. Every machine should have process flowcharts clearly showing how work enters and travels from employee to employee until completion. With this tool available, you'll always identify exact problem locations and necessary mechanic actions. Nobody enjoys reprimanding or terminating employees, but remember that fundamental success principles include being realistic. This means you can't deceive yourself into thinking unpleasant business can be avoided. Another excellent tool for checking machine maintenance needs are metrics or performance measurements. When systems exist for accurately measuring performance, it's like having machine dashboards, complete with warning lights alerting you immediately when something malfunctions. Metrics can provide considerable productivity boosts, and since they're unbiased, accurate, and reliable, they're perfectly suited for environments practicing radical honesty and transparency. With accurate views of exactly what employees do and how well they perform, supervision jobs almost handle themselves. Now that you understand maintaining smooth engine operation, let's examine building solid machines. Moving toward goals inevitably brings problems. However, there's no reason for panic or deterrence from these road bumps. Developing problem solutions is how many companies improve. In other words, most problems eventually provide machine fuel. However, hoping to transform problems into advantages requires designing businesses so problems get noticed and solutions get implemented as quickly as possible. One of the best organizational building methods works from top down. You can conceptualize good business structures as building opposites. Your foundation sits at the top, meaning you must first ensure excellent managers. Every manager should be trustworthy with high standards. Without this, their weaknesses and poor performance will eventually spread to staff. Conversely, managers who appreciate excellent work and maintain strong oversight with strict quality control will lead teams of employees who rise to their levels of great performance. So problems can be addressed swiftly. Each department should receive certain self-sufficiency and control over required resources. When bureaucracy prevents departments from acting quickly, your teams simply cannot perform their jobs. Finally, maintaining balanced manager-to-staff ratios proves wise. A good guideline suggests not exceeding 10-to-1 ratios. The ideal ratio approaches 5 employees per manager, giving your managers the best opportunities for meaningful relationships and mutual understanding with each employee. Rather than setting strict team size rules, you'll achieve best results by assessing each manager's capabilities and proceeding accordingly. Now you have basic understanding of principles the author used to find amazing success. It's your responsibility to start implementing them and transforming your organization into a constantly evolving and constantly winning enterprise. In this exploration of principles by Ray Dalio, you've discovered that firm principle collections help make decisions, even during the most chaotic and confusing times. These principles depend on you, but building radically truthful and radically transparent relationships with all work associates always proves beneficial. As a manager, you function like a mechanic, and your company functions like a machine. You can use flowcharts and metrics to maintain smooth operations and ensure company solidity by building from top down and keeping manager-to-employee ratios relatively small. Found these insights valuable? Hit like and subscribe for book summaries that could transform your thinking. The purchase link for Principles is waiting in the description, and we're curious, which of these concepts resonated most with you? Drop a comment below.